You want me to drop the car on you? Later, eh?
Yeah, later.
Let's get the work done first.
Yeah, get the work done first. That way it comes on all fours, not me.
Yeah.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Average Guy DIY. Today is a busy day. In order for my car to pass safety, we have to change the rotors, the pads, the sway bar links, and the lower ball joints. This video will only be showing the work done on one side of the car, but both sides are done the same. We obviously started by removing the tire, and then we jumped right in. There are two pins at the back of the brake calipers. Some are Allen keys, some are nuts and bolts. We have to remove those two pins in order to get the brake caliper off. As you can see, our two pins were actually Allen keys. When you're taking these brake calipers off, it's best to have something holding it in place. We just didn't do it this time. The old brakes are being pulled out of the caliper, and we're going to take a peek at them. They weren't absolutely the worst I've ever seen, but they're definitely due to be replaced. In a moment, I'm going to compare it to a new one so you guys can take a look. Next, we pulled the rotor off, and you'll notice here my buddy is just pointing out actual divots inside the rotor, which is never any good. I could actually feel the indents with my hands. Here's a comparison, one of the old pads and one of the new pads beside each other. And here, as you can see, the rotors were due for service as well. Now that the easy stuff is over, we had to get cracking on the hard stuff. Next on the list, changing the sway bar link. When it comes to changing sway bar links in these older vehicles, it's pretty universal. One nut and bolt at the top, one nut and bolt at the bottom. It was taking a little bit of time, so I decided to switch to the impact socket. After so many tries, it turns out the nut was just going around in circles, so we had to come up with another way. We found out another way to get them off, and I'm going to show you momentarily. We took off the top bolt, and now we're working on the lower bolt. What we did is we sprayed some lubricant into the lower nut just to clean it out. And with these sway bar links, we found there's a Allen key nut at the very end. So here's what we did. One person inserted the Allen key and the other person held a wrench to keep the bolt in place. We repeated this until the nut was completely removed off the end of the sway bar. Once we got the old sway bar off, we just matched it up to the new one just to make sure we had the correct part. Next, what you want to do is fill the sway bar end boots up with grease and check to make sure they're full by pinching them. This bolt I'm holding is from the lower ball joint, and that's what we started next. It was stuck in there and stripped, and we had to grind each end of it off to get it loose. Luckily, every part we change comes with brand new bolts and nuts. The next part was very tedious. Because the lower ball joint has never been changed on this car, it had original rivets inside of it, and we had to grind them all down and drill them out. And if you're still wondering, this is the lower ball joint. Once we get it out, I'll show you the new one and the old one. We've already separated the lower ball joint, but he's just putting this crowbar in so that he can get more leverage when he's in there grinding the rivets down, and then after that he has to drill them out. Now that the heads of the rivets are grinded down, we get to drill them out. These will be replaced with nuts and bolts. When doing a job like this, there's a few things you have to keep in mind. The first thing is you have to start with a small drill bit and work your way up to a larger drill bit. Also, you have to have some type of cutting oil so that the drill bit doesn't dry out. We're trying to avoid any squeaky noises. This process is repeated thoroughly until the rivets are actually removed. Also, it will leave a nice hole there for us to put our new bolts in. Then we used kind of like a hammer drill rivet remover gun. I actually don't know the name of this tool, but if you do, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Alright, so what we're looking at is 2 of the rivets removed, and we only have 1 more to go. Here's what the rivets look like. You can see how we drilled right through the middle of the rivet after grinding the head off. Here I'm showing you another one, and this one does have a head on the end, and they're kind of explaining how it works.
Yeah.
And the rivet is red hot.
Yeah.
They put it in the hole, and the other guy smushes it.
Now we're just on the last one, but we can only get it from underneath, so we're just going to make some extra room. I slowed this clip down so you can get an idea of how the rivet pops out. And finally, we got the last rivet out. The old lower ball joint is on the left and the new one is on the right. You can see you also have to fill up the new one with grease as well, just like the sway bar links.
Next, we just clean off the excess grease and dirt. There's no specific order for this next part. You can either install the rotors or the pads. We forgot which way the brake pad pin went, so we checked the old brake just to make sure we had it in the right place. When it comes to any vehicle, this part is usually slightly different. We tightened the little Allen keys up that hold the brake pad in place. Then we reinstalled the sway bar. I had to turn the wheel just so we could get it in place. And that's pretty much it, YouTube fam. As always, thanks so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click on that bell so you know when the next video is. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and enjoy your day.